There is a specific, almost cinematic moment in the dynamic of narcissistic abuse that changes everything. It's not necessarily the moment you physically walk away. It's not the moment you yell back. It is something much more subtle, silent, and, for the narcissist, absolutely terrifying. It's the moment they look into your eyes, and where they once found panic, doubt, and a desperate need for approval, they find nothing. They find a serene emptiness. They realize that the lever they've pulled thousands of times, the lever of intimidation, guilt, and veiled threats, has broken off in their hand. Have you felt this shift? That instant when the tactics that once made your heart race and your hands tremble now just seem like a bad performance from a movie you've watched too many times. When the fear evaporates, the narcissist's dark magic dissipates. For you, it's the beginning of freedom. For them, it is a profound existential crisis. The narcissist does not operate in the world of logic or mutual love. They operate in an economy of power, and the main currency of this economy is your fear. The fear of losing them, the fear of making them angry, the fear of not being good enough. When you remove fear from the equation, you are not just changing your behavior, you are declaring bankruptcy in their emotional bank. And the reaction to this is invariably a chaotic mix of fury, confusion, and tactical desperation. Today, we are going to dissect exactly what happens in a narcissistic person's mind when they realize you are no longer afraid. We'll dive into the hidden layers of their glitch in the matrix, understand why this provokes such extreme reactions, and, most importantly, validate what you are feeling right now. That strange, powerful calm that emerges when the fog finally lifts. My name is Lauren Mitchell. My purpose with this channel is to show you that the problem was never you, and more importantly, that you are not alone. If what you went through still hurts, still confuses, still weighs heavily, you deserve a guide that truly supports you. My ebook was created to be a hug in the form of an answer, comprehensive, sensitive, and liberating. There is nothing as clear and as human about the narcissistic partner as this. You don't have to go through this alone. Access my ebook and learn about the benefits for channel members through the link in the description of this video. To understand the seismic impact of your absence of fear, we first need to validate how that fear was built. You didn't wake up one day afraid of them by chance. It was a slow, meticulous process of conditioning, designed to create a hierarchy where they are the judge and you are the defendant in an eternal trial. Throughout the relationship, the narcissist trained you to be hyper-vigilant about their emotions. Do you remember the feeling of walking into the house and taking the temperature of the environment? That heavy silence that signaled danger? Or the sudden outburst over trivial things that made you believe that if you just tried harder, you could avoid conflict? This was not accidental. The narcissist needs your fear, because fear is the purest form of negative supply. When you are afraid of them, you are implicitly assigning power to them. You are saying, you are big, and I am small. You are in control of my emotional well-being. For a person with an inflated, but structurally fragile ego, that look of dread in your eyes is like a distorted mirror that makes them appear like a giant. They feed off your anxiety every time you apologized without being at fault. Every time you stopped doing something you enjoyed just to avoid provoking them, you were depositing coins into their ego account. Fear keeps you paralyzed, and the paralysis of the victim is the comfort of the abuser. While you are busy trying to survive their reactions, you don't have time to notice the reality. They are a fraud. But then, something happens. Maybe it's accumulated exhaustion. Maybe it's a new piece of information that makes the pieces click into place. Or maybe you just got tired of living in a state of alert, and suddenly, when they yell, you don't flinch. When they give you the silent treatment, you don't chase after them. You continue living your life, having your coffee, reading your book. To them, this is incomprehensible. It's as if they were pressing the TV remote, and the channel wouldn't change. They press harder, slam the remote on the table, change the batteries. They can't accept that the TV isn't broken. It was simply unplugged. This initial phase, where you stop reacting emotionally, creates a vacuum, and it is in this vacuum that the true nature of their pathology begins to reveal itself without filters. Fear was the glue that held their illusion of grandeur together. Without it, the structure begins to crumble. Here, we enter the first deep psychological pillar of this rupture, the collapse of the grandiosity mirror. Many victims believe that the narcissist has extremely high, unshakable self-esteem. The clinical truth is the opposite. The narcissist suffers from deep toxic shame and unbearable inner emptiness. The false self, that arrogant, charming, or intimidating persona they present to the world, is a defensive construct. It is armor, and that armor requires constant maintenance. You, the main source of supply, functioned as a mirror. As long as you reacted with fear and submission, the mirror reflected back to them, "I am powerful. I am feared. I am the master of this domain." Your fear validated the existence of their false self. The moment you lose your fear, the mirror changes. When they look at you and see indifference, calm, or even a hint of pity, the mirror stops reflecting the God they want to be. Instead, the mirror becomes transparent. They look into your eyes and see themselves as they truly are: small, irrelevant, and powerless. This generates a mortal narcissistic injury. It's not just that they don't like that you're not afraid, it's that your lack of fear threatens their psychic integrity. If you're not afraid of them, then they are not dangerous. If they are not dangerous, they are not powerful. And if they are not powerful, who are they? Just a scared child in an adult body, throwing a tantrum. That is why their initial reaction is often shock or disbelief. You might see them testing reality. They will repeat a phrase that used to make you cry. They will bring up an old insecurity of yours. They are trying to clean the mirror, trying to make it reflect the image of power again. When that doesn't work, they feel a total loss of control. And for the narcissist, control is synonymous with security. Without controlling your emotions, they feel naked in public. Your calmness is a personal insult. It is a passive aggression in their mind. They interpret your lack of fear as disrespect, as audacity, as a rebellion that must be crushed. But, psychologically, what is happening is that they are being forced to confront their own emptiness, and there is nothing a narcissist fears more than their own irrelevance. Faced with this collapse, the narcissist enters what behavioral psychology calls an extinction burst. When a behavior that has always been rewarded, with your submission, stops generating the reward, the subject doesn't give up immediately. They intensify the behavior. Think of a child who cries to get candy. If the mother stops giving the candy, the child doesn't stop crying right away. They cry louder, throw themselves on the floor, scream. The narcissist does exactly that, but with adult and much more destructive tools. When they realize you are not afraid, they will try to morph the tactic. If direct intimidation has stopped working, they may swing violently between two extremes, the monster and the victim. First, the monster. They may escalate the aggression. If they used to yell, now they might break things. If they used to threaten to end the relationship, now they might threaten to take the children, leave you broke, or spread your secrets. They are desperately trying to find the new threshold of your fear. They need to know, how far do I have to go to see the terror in her eyes again? It's a dangerous escalation, and it is crucial to maintain physical and legal safety here, but psychologically, it is a sign of their weakness, not their strength. If the escalation of aggression fails, if you maintain the gray rock method, responding with one-word answers and no emotion, they can instantly reverse the pole and become the victim. Suddenly, they are sick. Suddenly, they are depressed. They cry. They say you have changed, that you have become cold and insensitive, that you are the abuser now for not caring about their pain. This is an attempt to induce guilt, which is fear's close cousin. If they can't control you through terror, they will try to control you through pity. They want you to be afraid of being a bad person. They want you to be afraid of being unfair. This rapid oscillation between tyrant and martyr is the definitive proof of their dysregulation. They are throwing everything they have at the wall to see what sticks. And the most revealing thing here is the speed of the change. Nobody goes from homicidal rage to baby crying in 5 minutes genuinely. It's a performance. It is the desperate search for any button that still works on your control panel. When you observe this without fear, you see how pathetic the mechanism is. You stop seeing a complex partner and start seeing a flawed algorithm, trying to run an old script on an operating system that has already been updated. When the narcissist finally accepts, even if unconsciously, that you are no longer afraid and that they have lost control over you, they need to protect the false self in another way. If they cannot control the reality within the relationship, they need to control the reality outside of it. This is where the third pillar comes in, the history rewrite and the smear campaign. Your lack of fear is a witness to their failure. You have become living proof that they are not omnipotent. Therefore, in their mind, You need to be discredited. They need to transform the narrative so that your indifference is not seen as strength or liberation, but as madness, wickedness, or instability. They will start selling the story of the breakup or separation even before it officially happens. They will tell friends, family, and even your children, "She's acting strange. I think she's having mental health problems. I'm trying to help, but she's aggressive." This serves two purposes. First, it guarantees supply from third parties, the flying monkeys, who will validate them as the poor suffering partner. Second, it is a preemptive vaccine. If you decide to tell the truth about the abuse, they have already planted the seed of doubt. "See, I told you she was getting paranoid." The narcissist projects onto you what they feel. If they feel hatred because they lost control, they will say you are a hateful person. If they feel fear of your independence, they will say you are unstable and dangerous. This phase is painful, but it is also a definitive sign that you have won the psychological battle. They are in retreat. They are burning the bridges because they know they can no longer cross them to invade your mental territory. They would rather destroy your reputation than admit they lost power over you. Many victims back down here. The fear of external judgment, social fear, replaces the fear of the narcissist. But understand, this defamation is the last gasp of their influence. Those who believe them without question do not deserve to be in your life. Those who truly know you, or who have discernment, will eventually see the cracks in their mask. The history rewrite is their admission that the real truth, your truth, is too powerful for them to bear. The absence of fear is not something you force. It is something you achieve through understanding. When you realize that the Wizard of Oz is just a small man behind a curtain manipulating levers, the giant disappears. What you feel now is not hate. Hate is still an emotional bond. Hate is still a type of fuel for the narcissist. What you feel, or are beginning to feel, is indifference. And indifference is the narcissist's kryptonite. When they realize that their eyes no longer cause yours to tremble, they will know it's over. They may throw a fit. They may try to defame you. They may try to seduce you again. But the power dynamic has been irrevocably broken. You have recovered sovereignty over your own mind. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing, they can do to take that from you again. This is your quiet victory. Take comfort in the certainty that the chaos they are demonstrating now is not a sign of their strength, but the sound of their collapse. Keep observing. Keep not reacting. Keep walking away. You have already won. Feel free to leave your account, your vent, or even a suggestion for the next video's topic in the comments below. Access the link in the description to check out my ebook and the benefits for members of this channel. Click on the suggested video on the screen to continue with me. And remember, you are light. Never forget to shine.